Patrolling the property, the fundamentals of patrolling. They make us patrol the property. When you're managing an affordable housing complex, affordable housing community, you gotta walk the property. You're basically doing a patrol. Okay, so they make us patrol per company policy. They'll make us patrol twice per day. They kind of leave it up to you. 3 times per day is a bit much, not really much point, but it's a daily thing and it should be done twice per day. Generally, I patrol the property in the morning time and late at night. That's kind of like the two extremes that I found that worked out pretty well for me. So for example, when I wake up in the morning, I get up around 4:30, so I'll go on a patrol around 4:30. Takes me about 15 to 20 minutes because the property is it's big, so it takes me about 15 to 20 minutes to patrol the whole property. And then same thing again at night, at 10 o'clock at night, I'll go on patrol and I'll walk the whole property. So the fundamentals, the basics of patrolling, basically you're walking around, okay? You gotta walk around, you're walking around, you're looking for certain things, okay? So one of the things that you can be looking for specifically is rowdiness. So that's kind of why I patrol at 10 o'clock at night and I patrol at 4:30, because technically those are supposed to be the quiet hours. So there's no reason for anybody to be running around, yelling, screaming. There should be no kids playing at that time. There should be nobody hanging out. There should be nobody listening to music in their car, okay? Because it's the quiet hours. And so that's why when you're walking around and you're patrolling, you'll notice that. So those are things that you look for. You also look for anybody who's sleeping on the property, maybe like a homeless person sleeping on a bench, sleeping in the trash can, something like that. That's the other things that you look for when you're on patrol. Patrolling, you generally want to use the same route every time. The reason I say this is because you don't want to get into this thing where you're the security and you're chasing people and you're trying to catch people, okay? That is not your function. Your function is not to be a security guard. You are the affordable housing manager, okay? So your patrolling tactic has to be different. So generally what I do is I use the same route every single time. By using the same route every single time, that kind of brings some consistency to it. I go at the same time, like I said, 10 o'clock and 4:30, so there's that consistency. And that's what the residents want to see too. They want to see that there's someone consistently walking around, patrolling the area, making sure the area is safe. That's what makes everybody feel safe. And that really deters a lot of problems that you're gonna have. A lot of people, they're watching to see when they can go out and do their mischief. I got a funny story about that. I had a resident who used to dress up like a superhero. Yeah, he'll put on a cape and a mask and he'll walk around and he'll cause mischief all over the property at night, past the quiet hours. The reason that he was doing that was because there was no patrolling going on at that time. After patrolling started, then he stopped. What mischief did he cause? Well, he would he would rotate the furniture upside down. He would take chairs, put them on top of the table. He would take the picture frames and rotate them upside down 180 degrees. Just mischief that he'd cause. And then when the superhero was done with this mischief, he would just walk back to his unit, and we can see him on the camera. We could see which unit he's going to. So, it didn't make much sense to me. Actually, this resident stole a mattress one time. There was a resident who, this is another story, is that a resident who was in a wheelchair, and so we have a pull cord, and a pull cord is basically whenever there's, usually at senior properties, you'll see them where there's a property, an affordable housing property, where there's mostly elderly senior citizens. There'll be a thing called a pull cord. And a pull cord, basically what it does is you pull it and it makes a light shine outside of your unit. And if that light shines outside of your unit, then you'll know someone is in trouble. So that's the pull cord. So this resident pulled the pull cord, the light started flashing, I got the notification, I was out on patrol, so I ran up to his unit. Around that same time, another resident got there. And that's kind of what I like too about working in the senior communities, is that the seniors, they watch out for each other. The family properties, not so much. Everybody kind of just, every man for himself type thing. But the senior properties, they all watch out for each other. They know each other. They check in on each other. Like, for example, when that pull cord got pulled and I got over there, there were a couple other residents who also showed up to help out. Now that's the funny part of the story. We went in there and we found that that resident was stuck between the wall and his toilet. He had fallen off the toilet because he's in a wheelchair. He had fallen off the toilet and he was stuck between the wall and the toilet. So we kind of had to help him put him back on the toilet. But the funny thing about the story is while we were helping this guy, this freaking superhero resident walks in, rolls up his carpet and leaves. Literally just rolls up man's carpet and then walks out. And we had no idea because we were over here trying to help him. So after we asked him about it, we were like, hey, what the hell? Like, what happened to the carpet? And he goes, I thought he wanted me to have it. I thought it was like payment for helping him, helping him. And I was like, you didn't even help him. We were helping him. You just walked in and rolled up his carpet and took off. But how does this tie into patrolling? The basics of patrolling is you're walking around the property, you're showing the residents that there is a presence there, that there's a kind of like a security presence there. You're using the same route. The reason you're using the same route is because you'll start to catch the people who are the rowdy people. You don't want to chase after people. If you see somebody being rowdy way the fuck over there, that doesn't mean that you change your route to go over there to see what's going on. You maintain your route. And if they're dumb enough to run into your route, then you can say something, okay? And they will. Don't think that, if I just keep the same route, I'm never gonna catch the people. You will catch them. You will catch them because you are consistent, because your route is consistent. You're consistently walking at the same time, using the same route. You will catch them. The basics of patrolling. Visibility. So, you notice I'm wearing a reflector vest. Get a reflector vest. If you don't have one, order it from your HD Supply, order it from your Office Depot, order it from the places that you order from, but get a reflector belt. You want to be visible. That's also a basic of patrolling too. This is not a recon patrol, okay? You are visible. You want to be as visible as you can for cars and for other people. Flashlight. Get flashlight. This you definitely need because when you're patrolling at night, you need to be able to see where you're going. There could be some bullshit on the ground, there could be some glass, there could be a tree, there could be people hiding in the bushes. You don't know, so you need to have flashlights so you can see. Whistle. Carry your whistle with you if you need to call for help. If you're a girl and you need to carry your pepper spray, your brass knuckles, your gun, whatever you need to carry it. Protect yourself. You're patrolling early in the morning and late at night. So you might run into some trouble. I hope you don't. You don't want to run into trouble, but you just might, okay? I've ran into some sticky situations while I've been on patrol. But it's good though, because that's kind of your job. You're basically walking around. Some places will have security and I have the number for them, so in case anything happens, I can call the security. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I want to mention. Make sure that you save the non-emergency number for the police department. Don't call the 911 number, especially if it's an emergency, call 911. Totally, I understand. But if it's not an emergency, don't call 911 because they get mad. Call the non-emergency number. You'll get a better response as well. The non-emergency number, you just Google the police department close by and you just call them. It's not the 911, it's like a regular number. And that's what you want to call whenever there's some issue going on. Of course, if you see somebody on the property, you're patrolling, it's your obligation to tell them that first of all, if they're by themselves and they don't live there, then they're loitering. So you can tell them that, hey, this is private property, you're trespassing, there's no loitering here, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. Remember how we talked about, be very respectful when you're talking to people because you don't know who it is. If it's people using the laundry or people making noise or something like that, or they tell you something like, I'm visiting. Remember, the resident has to be with them at all times. So just because the person is visiting doesn't mean that they can walk around here at 4:30 in the morning high on drugs, making some stupid ass noise, making mess and stuff, and because I live here. Because I know somebody who lives here. Doesn't work that way. And that is your function. You're there to catch people like that. You're there to keep the place safe. You're there to report back information. You're there to observe and report, but do not engage. That's the specific thing, that when you're out on patrol and you're the property manager and you're patrolling, do not engage. Observe and report. What does that mean? If you see something happening, you observe it, write it all down that you're seeing or record it. Don't engage, don't jump in there, don't try to be the police because it's not your function. And if anything happens to you or if you do something to somebody, you can get in trouble. You can get a hard time, like we talked about. Patrolling can be fun, okay? You know, you can see interesting things that you would not have seen during the day. I'll let you use your imagination with that one. Basics of patrolling. Stay visible, stay safe, keep your flashlight on you, keep a reflector belt, always use the same route, and stay consistent. Keep your property safe.